Today, we're going to talk all about your 5th week of being pregnant with twins. I'm Natalie Diaz, founder of Twiniversity, the world's leading website for parents of twins, and I'm also the author of the best-selling book, What to Do When You're Having Two. It's not too shabby if I don't say so myself. So congrats, you're 5 weeks pregnant with twins, or you think you might be 5 weeks pregnant with twins. Let's get into some of the signs and symptoms that kind of would lead you along a better understanding that, is this twins? Could it be twins? Would it be twins? I don't know. Do you want twins? Were you hoping for twins? All right, number one. If you ended up having IVF or have been to the doctor, more than the average bear, perhaps you had some infertility struggles, and now you're going to the doctor and they're noticing that your HCG levels are going higher and higher and higher, it could actually indicate a multiple birth pregnancy. I remember when I was going through my IVF and the first blood test that I had, I was like, okay. They're like, you're pregnant. I'm like, sounds good. And then the next day it went higher. And then a few days later it went higher. And a few days later, I believe we did another test. And I remember getting a call from the doctor and they were like, Nat, I think it might be more than one. And I'm like, what? What? So you can't be certain until you have your ultrasound, but if you've noticed those HCG levels rising and rising and rising, there is a very good chance that you might be pregnant with twins. The next thing is there's some common pregnancy symptoms that many twin parents often experience even in their 5th week. So if you've noticed that you're a little bit more exhausted than usual, if you notice that you're running to the bathroom a lot more than you typically were even a few weeks ago, if you've noticed any breast tenderness or even having food cravings that, for a lack of a better term, are super extra, you might be pregnant with twins. If you've noticed that you're like, hey, listen, I really want some pickles and peanut butter, go for it. Absolutely go for it. Now, if you've already had a singleton pregnancy and maybe this is your 2nd pregnancy and you're noticing a lot of these differences, it could very well be. But remember, we're never going to be positive until we have that twin ultrasound around your 9th week. Now, the next thing is sometimes at 5 weeks, even as early as 5 weeks, if you've noticed that your nausea is out of control, it is definitely a sign that it could actually be twins because of that hormone level HCG that we just talked about a few seconds ago. When that is super elevated, your nausea and your vomiting is really, really not the best. So that is another sign that you could be pregnant with twins, or it's a symptom that you're having if you are 5 weeks pregnant with twins. Now, do you know that you're actually a little bit more likely to have twins if you have certain kind of markers? And so one of them is that if you have a family history of fraternal twins, there is a good chance that you might be in your 5th week of your twin pregnancy. Another thing is did you know that if you were advanced maternal age, who says that, by the way? Like literally, that was like the worst thing to say to somebody. So if you are a new mom that's over 35 years old, you have a higher incidence of twinning. Yeah, so there you go. You might want to get all those babies out before your advanced maternal age. Thanks, medical world. If you have a BMI of 30 or are above average maternal height, there's actually studies that say you might have a higher incidence of twinning. And if you've had previous pregnancies and you're feeling a lot of these differences, like I said, it could really, really be a multiple birth pregnancy. You could be having twins. But heck, it could actually be more. It could be triplets, quints, quads, sextuplets. The list goes on and on and on. Now, some of the reasons why these things happen, so let's say it's your 5th week of pregnancy with your twins and you're noticing kind of that frequent urination, just know that what happens is during pregnancy, the amount of blood in your body increases, and it's even more when you're carrying more than one baby. And as your kidneys process this additional fluid, more fluid ends up in your bladder, meaning more trips to the bathroom than usual. And please, I beg you, do not drink less water. I know that it's more trips to the bathroom, but please do not drink less water because water is critical, like absolutely, like legendarily critical during any pregnancy, especially a multiple birth pregnancy, in the summertime. So please make sure that you are drinking your water. It's one of the things that we talk about all the time in Twiniversity classes. And it's one of the top reasons why my Twiniversity students end up going to the labor and delivery early, is because they actually are exhibiting signs of dehydration and they think that it's preterm labor. So yeah, now another thing is remember how we were talking about the HCG before? Well, because of those increased levels, you might feel more worn out than usual. I know it's easier said than done, but you gotta try to get some rest. I know you have things to do. I know you want to go shopping. I know you really want to celebrate your multiple birth pregnancy. However, you really do gotta rest. So please get some rest. Next thing is, remember we were talking about that nausea before? Well, yeah, that morning sickness could happen right after fertilization or even take up to a month after. And sometimes, it could go on there for quite some time. So if you are exhibiting any symptoms of nausea and having significant vomiting, you really do need to tell your doctor pretty much ASAP, because if you're vomiting, you could get dehydrated. And remember what I just said 2 seconds about the water. It's very, very important. So morning sickness is a lot more common in parents of multiples. We see it a lot in our Twiniversity community, significantly more than people who have had a singleton and then ended up having twins. All say that, yeah, they ended up getting quite a bit of morning sickness. So that's kind of like the early symptoms that you would experience if you were pregnant with twins. 5 weeks, like I said, is still pretty early. And of course, we really need that ultrasound to confirm that. As a matter of fact, there are 2 heartbeats kind of in your womb. My kids hate when I say the word womb. I don't know why. That's actually what it's called, guys. When you get that for a sonogram around that 9-week mark, you're going to see that, they might do an internal sonogram. So just be on alert for that. But if and when you get your sonogram and you could see those 2 little amniotic sacs that are filled with tiny little babies, and they look like dark little eyes in a skeleton's face. I don't know. I know that's probably not like the nicest way to put it, but I remember seeing my sonogram for the first time and just being like, that's what it looks like. And what's so absolutely incredible is that when you go for that ultrasound and you see those tiny little heartbeats, it means that your babies are starting to develop and things really are going to move very, very quickly. But the very first thing you're going to see is that tiny little flickering of their little baby hearts. So that is your 5th week of pregnancy with twins. There is so much more along the road. We're going to cover every single week for you, take you along this journey, and don't forget to head on over to twiniversity.com, where we have your twin pregnancy week by week available. We even have a newsletter for you that you could sign up, and all that information could get dropped in your inbox, just in case you forget to come by and visit me here. So once again, I am Natalie Diaz. Thanks so much for joining us today. Congratulations on your 5th week, and I can't wait to see you for your 6th week. See you later, alligators.